Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy. We're back again with another video, and today I really just wanted to talk about the state of the PvP in Elden Ring, which is mainly what I focus on. I've been having some gripes, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't really been playing or paying much attention to Elden Ring here recently, which is sad, really. I mean, it's probably the quickest I've dropped a Souls game. I wouldn't say I've dropped it completely. Having a lot of fun just doing co-op and helping random people out with bosses and whatnot. Um, but yeah, man, in terms of the PvP, there's just a lot of things I'd like to address. Um, and yeah, this is not scripted at all, so I'm kind of afraid that this will just turn into a rant, but I'll make sure that it doesn't get too long. But first, let me start this by stating, my history with the Souls games. I began playing these games, with Dark Souls 2, probably my favorite one. It has a very soft spot in my heart. I know a lot of people like to hate on that one, but I never even beat it until like Bloodborne came out. So of course played through Bloodborne, beat that, and I think right after beating Orphan of Kos, I was like, you know what? Let's give Dark Souls 2 a chance. I think that was when Scholar of the First Sin came out. And man, I loved it. That shit was just insane. There's just so much variety. Still to this day, I mean, the community is just so strong with all of these games, but it's very surprising that Dark Souls 2 still has, a pretty active player base. And I play here on the PlayStation 5, but I'm sure it's active on all platforms. So after beating Dark Souls 2 like 3 times, I went to buy Dark Souls, and actually around that time, that's when the remastered version came out. So obviously went bought that for the PS4 at the time. Beat that with a couple of characters. I enjoyed the PvP in that game, but it was a lot of backstab fishing, a lot of like two-shot spells, except for like Dark Bead, and it's pretty hilarious. You can just one-shot people in that. But yeah, I mean it was still a pretty enjoyable game. I think I really enjoyed the PvE aspect way more than I thought I would in the first Dark Souls. But uh, played Dark Souls 3. Probably put more time than any of them combined just in Dark Souls 3, just through the DLCs and the amount of variety they had in that. It didn't show it at the beginning, but once the last DLC came out, man, it was just so much you could do, and it really was jarring going back and getting this footage of Dark Souls 3 after playing so much Elden Ring. Not being able to jump, uh, just like recovery being so vastly different. You can't just throw things out like you can in Elden Ring. But the game just had so many quirks, just like mechanics that were just hidden. Being able to use a talisman and holding down, left trigger to proc the poise for talismans. Weapon arts when they began in Dark Souls 3, I think a lot of us were, a little worried, but it ended up just being, a lot of copy and paste for a lot of weapons, and then of course like the boss soul weapons, those had some different ones, some unique weapon arts. But yeah, man, Dark Souls 3, that was definitely a good one in terms of the PvP at least. Only thing I would say is probably like netcode lag, that plagues all of the Souls games, but you could really feel it in Dark Souls 3, especially when it came to status effects. You just dodge and you'd still get clipped, which is actually an issue in Elden Ring, uh, which I think hits Elden Ring a lot harder. But now you know my history in the Souls games. I played it a lot. I enjoyed all of them. My favorite one is definitely Dark Souls 2. Oh, and I beat Sekiro as well. Forgot about that. Not many people mention that one, but that one definitely has the best combat, man. Once you get that parry mechanic down pat, ooh, that final boss, Ishin Ashina, delicious. I'm actually surprised they didn't uh, drop DLC for that. Very upsetting, to be honest. But anyways, getting back to Elden Ring. So, number one, and like I said, this isn't in any particular order. This is just gripes I have about the game that I think they need to fix, as fast as possible, really, or else everybody's just gonna go back to Dark Souls 3 or 2 or whatever the Souls players really do once they're waiting for the next one to come out. I'm really not sure. Play something else, I guess. But yeah, so number one, obviously, they gotta fix these glitches, man. They gotta patch in and do it correctly. Fix things that are, in my opinion, fix things that are, you know, actually damaging to the game balance, not just, you know, things that are like, player-made mechanics that make the game a little bit more playable, builds being more playable. For example, one thing that I really need them to just get down and fix is the AFK farming spots, the ability to, helmet swap. Actually, this works with a couple of different talismans. I don't want to say them. I'm sure you can just look it up, but a lot of things mess with your stats, and, just switching them in and out, it'll pretty much heal you or, restore your mana, stuff like that. And that just honestly has no place in the game. Shouldn't be that, yeah, especially this far after launch. It's just no excuse, They know that these things are in the game. There's billions of videos out there. I'm very happy that they fixed the Fire's Deadly Sin glitch. That spell on its own, honestly, was pretty useless, but the way it reacted to other spells and other items was just so wonky. I don't know how they didn't playtest it at first. Um, but they fixed the Death Blight. They fixed they fixed the Erd Tree fully automatic shield with the magic counter. That was hilarious, I'm not gonna lie, but it was everywhere in the first like month of Elden Ring. You couldn't get into an invasion without, 3 people using that. But I always say, just fight fire with fire. You're not gonna get banned. They'll just patch it out anyways, and at least you have a chance. But yeah, I'm very happy they patched that. Not as quickly as I would have liked, but you know, it shows that they have the capability and that they're listening. That's the most important part. They are listening, or at least it seemed. And then we came, I think it was around like a month ago when that most recent patch came out. They, for some reason, they fixed, quote unquote, fixed the spell buffer glitch. Which personally, I mean, I guess it was a glitch, but during the time, when people were discovering it and you use it, it seemed glitchy for just a handful of spells, spells that didn't have the animation for it. And what I'm talking about is where you use a spell that has, a combo in it, where you could just keep on tapping whatever button it was that you used to trigger the spell, and then you switch to another spell that has a wind up, or, it has another cast, or any other spell, and you can, quick cast it to make it come out faster. And bro, that added so much depth to the game that it was very, very needed, especially in terms of sorceries. A lot of builds that I was making on my account, man, a lot of those builds are no longer. There's just no point in using them because of the fact that you're just not gonna hit anybody with these spells. Like a lot of times, bro, the only spells that are useful are the fast hitting ones, right? Sadly, the stronger spells are a lot slower, which means you're not. I mean, any competent player is just gonna roll through it or Bloodhound step through it, which is, that's coming up next, to be honest with you. And it's just very sad. I was very, very sad to see that you can no longer, just go from Bestial Sling to a Black Blade, or, a lot of the a lot of the intricacies and a lot of the mind games are in, whiffing in Dark Souls games. You do a lot of things to get into the opponent's head, and then, it creates a snowball effect once you get that first hit going. And now I want to say for a lot of these hybrid builds, it's just very, very hard to even get that snowball effect going, especially when damage is just so crazy on the other spectrum, with melee characters. Um, yeah, man, that was just very upsetting to see. And what's really weird is that they didn't even nerf it all the way. You can still do it if you jump and cast for a couple of these spells. I know it works with Bestial Sling, but you have to jump cast first, which means they didn't even nerf it all the way. which is also just very. It just seems like they only have a handful of people doing this, and then they don't playtest after. That's my biggest issue. It's like if you're gonna nerf it, then just nerf it all the way, but then do an across the board type of balance patch, because there's no way that they don't see like how much damage a lot of these things do, a lot of methods, to get maxed out, uh, 100 to 0 true combos through like status effects. And I guess that's what I'll talk about next, man. In my opinion, by the way, this is all just my opinion. Um, I really just want to like create a discussion because I'm curious what other people think. I'm not complaining. I don't care about the PvE aspect. I've played that. It's great. Whatever. This is about PvP and mainly just dueling. To be honest with you, they need to nerf status effects. They really, really need to nerf bleed, and they really need to nerf the pauses after getting hit with a status effect. There's no reason to have your character stagger like that after getting hit by a status effect like frostbite or bleed or anything like that, which already does buku damage, right? Just to get put into another hit to build up that bleed or frostbite or whatever status effect your opponent is using, especially when netcode makes it so that, for example, I'll dodge your hit, but because on your screen it looked like you hit me, it's going to register as a hit. So the build up still builds up. There's no reason, you can keep that because that's not going to change. There's no, not, we don't have, a billion foot LAN cables to fix the net codes and shit like that. But why would you cause that stagger? It just makes no sense to me. They took out true combos from Dark Souls 3. You can no longer, R1 twice and hit somebody. But through bleed or frostbite, if you're using a twin blade, you can hit somebody like 4 times. Rivers of blood. You can literally dog somebody's entire, 1800 health bar if you have the right setup just through like a couple of L2s. And that just makes no sense, man. I just think damage in general is just way, way, way overtuned. I'm not saying just like nerf all the weapons. I'm saying just nerf the damage values, nerf the multipliers that you get through some of these talismans. I mean, it's a lot that goes into it. I'm not a game developer, and I don't want to just say, just blanket nerf everything, but it's just kind of hilarious when you have 2100 health and one L2 from a rivers can just completely decimate you. Now, of course, people are getting better, and 9 times out of 10, me personally, I won't get into the range of a rivers, but you got to remember, nobody has a lack of points to allocate to mana or stamina or whatever, especially that they took out the need for attunement slots, and stamina is nowhere near as important as it was back then. So I mean, it's just it's very very it's a very fine line of where the balance changes need to be, and I don't want to say nerf this when you know I really honestly don't know what I'm talking about. So with that out of the way, I'm going to get into my last point, and that is certain weapon arts, and in particular Bloodhound Step, man. They need to do something about Bloodhound Step, bro. I mean, when the game first came out, that shit was everywhere. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing Bloodhound Step and somebody two-handing a Ultra Great Sword, which can't be parried, by the way, and just doing 800 damage every rolling R1. And then if you try to hit them, they'll just Bloodhound Step right out of it. I don't even think, even like Stars of Ruin, the one ability that like you literally cannot take 0 damage from, Bloodhound Step will completely negate that. And it's just kind of hilarious. I don't even see Bloodhound Step nowadays. I think everybody knows it's just so broken. And if you do see it, I'm gonna be honest with you, just get out of there, man. Just Black Crystal out or whatever the item is to get out of that invasion or whatever it is that you're doing. It's really just no point, in my opinion. It's just a waste of time. Unless you want to just put it onto and show them how annoying they're being. It's really up to you. I'm not that petty. I just don't even try to waste my time anymore. Um, this guy made a mod that made it so that the person would like trip and like freaking take a Ed and Eddie like stumble fall when he uses like Bloodhound Step after like 3 times, just spamming it. You know, even that I don't think is enough. I think they need to just increase the mana cost. Actually, since it's called Bloodhound Step, it should, work the way Bleed does, right? I mean, if they're going to keep the way Bleed works anyways, you might as well make it build up Bleed for the person that's using it. I think that would be pretty nice, and keep that stagger in. In that case, that would be okay. I would keep Bloodhound Step in, but other than that, man, that shit just needs to go, or it just needs to get, that type of change to it. Um, is there anything else? I don't know, man. I think that's about it. But it's just kind of sad, man. It's sad that I even had to make this video. Um, I really don't think I'll be playing Elden Ring for the PvP for much longer. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just not fun to me, man. It used to be, though, and that's what's upsetting. It's just so disheartening because the game was just so hyped up, and it lived up to it, and you don't see that very often. But then you play the PvP, and you're like, damn, this is not the way that the old games were, and I hate to feel like that. I hate to sound like an old motherfucker, because like, I'm used to the old games or something, but that's just not the case. I just don't. I can see what's wrong, and it's upsetting that they're fixing things that don't need fixing, in my opinion. But yeah, man, I'll just be playing, Dark Souls 2 or something, um, or just other games or something, man. I'm having a lot of fun just doing co-op, so that's fun. But yeah, that's about all I had to say, man. I hope this garners some type of discussion, and let me know what you guys think, bro. I will see you guys next time. Peace.